All right, what's up, everybody? So today I got a guest, my daughter Autumn. Probably won't do the whole video today. I'm just gonna kind of start some of it. But yeah, sorry if my microphone's picking up some of the show that she's got playing here. Hopefully the audio. I think the audio is set just for my mic, so hopefully it won't be too disruptive. Cause I got two monitors. I got one over here with her little kid show going, keep her entertained. But all right, we're gonna close this dictionary. Let's not save that. All right, and we're just gonna create a new file here. Save this file as. Actually, all right. So we're on chapter 7, which is user input and while loops. So this is gonna be kind of fun. Okay. So yeah, user inputs and while loops. This is gonna start getting kind of fun because now we're gonna get into where you can actually interact with your program a little bit. So our first example here is just gonna be a message. So we'll make this variable here message, and then it's going to be equal to something called input, and then on inside these parentheses, you're going to put basically the message that you want to prompt the user for the input. So it says they wrote something that just says tell me something and I will repeat it back to you. But I'm just going to go ahead and put you know, type something. It's a little shorter. And then on the below here, we can do print and then message. So then if I build and run this, it's going to ask type something. And then after that, you can say, something. Then you hit enter. Okay, so this is not actually going to work inside of Sublime because you need to run this from the command prompt in order for it to actually work. So that's frustrating. You okay? Alright, so from what I'm seeing here, it looks like I should be able to run this through the command prompt by just going to where this is saved. So basically you can run these programs through the command line. This was really messy, so I do apologize. I'm going to go ahead and close my command line. And if you want to find your command line tool too, you can just go into your search bar here and do CMD. Your command prompt will come. And then you're going to land basically in whatever the default directory is. What you want to do is type cd and then basically go to documents. Go to do whatever folder your projects are saved in. So for mine, I saved a folder in my documents on my computer called Python projects. That's the folder where all my programs are saved. So just put cd and then do the whole file path for wherever your project is saved. Hit enter. You'll see that now you are in that directory, and then you just need to type in the name of the file that you want to run. So whatever you saved this file and then once you get that all done, you hit enter and it's going to basically just run that file. So we have a message here equal to input type something, so it shows type something, and then if you type in something, I'm going to say this is what I typed, and you hit enter, it'll print that below. So the last thing we have here is where it's going to print your message. So it just prints it right here, and that's how it's supposed to happen. For some reason, like they said, Sublime doesn't have the ability to do that, so you have to run it through the command line, and that's how you do it. For some of these, if it continues to be like this where we can't run it in the IDE, I may just go and switch to IntelliJ, because IntelliJ, you can actually run programs like this right inside the IDE, which makes it, I think, a little easier instead of having to use the command prompt. Alright, what's up, everybody? So, new day, new outfit, and I'm going to try to do the rest of this video, obviously, without my daughter. It was fun trying to do the beginning of it with her, but a little tough to try to code with a 2-year-old. Anyway, as you guys can see, I have IntelliJ open today. I also have, where we left off inside of Sublime. So I'm going to jump back and forth a little bit between Sublime and IntelliJ just because of having to run these programs inside of our command prompt. Wasn't a huge fan of that. So I'm going to just create a new project here, a new Python project. Python is here. Python is a plugin inside of IntelliJ. So if you're going to download IntelliJ for the first time and you want to get Python set up, there is a video that I made on how to set up Python in IntelliJ. So I'll link that in the description of this video if you guys want to set everything up during this. But because I have everything set up, it already has Python here. So I can just click next. And we will call this I guess user inputs, right? All right, user input and while loops, because that's what we are going to be covering. Just open up in this window. That other project was a Java project that I did a while ago. All right, so this is our brand new project that we just opened, and there's really nothing inside of it right now. So our libraries. All right, so I guess we can just go ahead and create a new file, a Python file, and we'll just call this our main.py. All right, so from here, we should be able to kind of copy what we just did here. I'm being really lazy today, I'm going to copy that. So if we run this, I will need to set up my configurations though, and again, IntelliJ is a little bit more complicated, but you just come on right down to Python over here, and then for your script path, you're just going to go to the actual file that you're working on, so this one. And then you can click apply, press OK, and then, oh, I think I forgot to actually add it. I always do that. All right. There we go. All right, so now I should be able to build this, and you'll see down here it says type something. I should. All right, and then it prints it, yeah. So this actually allows you to run these programs right here inside of our IDE versus having to open up the command prompt and go to that directory and then run your program through the command prompt, which is something I guess Sublime requires you to do. So again, I will link the description to, or I'll link the video that I have on setting up Python and IntelliJ. So if you guys want to do that at this point, you can, and then you can run all these projects right in your IDE instead of having to go back and forth from Sublime to the command prompt. So yeah, from here we will just move on throughout the chapter. I think I will probably just finish up the chapter in IntelliJ. Maybe doing, one or two examples in the command prompt again, just to show you guys. But I don't know, we'll see. All right, so the next example they have here is an input, and it's going to be asking for your name. So we'll just say, what is your name? And then again, if we run this, it's going to say, what is your name? Oh, whoops. All right, actually, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. We'll close that. We're going to modify our message a little bit. So we're going to have it print more than just the message. So we'll just do a new line, have it say hello, and then from there we can do our little curly brackets, and then we can put in the message. All right, there we go. And if we run this, it'll say, hey, what is your name? And then you type in your name, and it'll say, hello, Peter. Ba-bam. There you go. Probably should just use Mr. Porkchop, but whatever. My name's Peter, everybody. I go by Mr. Porkchop because my wife calls me Porkchop. So I guess you can modify your prompts. So input takes in basically a message, right? But if you can put in, you can have it do something. You can do something like this. So you can go prompt, and the example I have here, it says, I'm just gonna go take this right from the book. If you tell us who you are, we can personalize the messages you see. And then I guess you can go prompt and then do plus, and then I guess that just adds additional things to this. I always do the wrong slash. So you can do something like that, and then instead of having instead of directly putting in your prompts right here, you can just set up your prompt beforehand and then put it in there. All right, and I think from there, then we can run this. Oops, I forgot. All right, this says different shortcuts. Shift F10. That's a terrible shortcut. All right, so for this one, you can see that it has multiple lines for the prompt. So it gives you both of this one and this one. But that is pretty cool. So you can take a nice long message and put it inside your input. And then it'll, again, just ask you what your name is. And you can put in whatever your name is. And we have it saying hello. All right, so I'm just reading over this. It's talking about inputs, basically treating everything as strings. So if I asked for your age and you put in 21, it's going to treat that as a string, not a number. So if you try to use it as a number, it's going to give you an error. So I assume this next page is going to tell me kind of how to get around that. All right, so it looks like if you wanted to actually do numbers, there is a way to basically convert a string to an integer. So I'm not going to do the whole example they have, but I'll show you what they basically did. And they just have your age. They ask for your age, which is going to be equal to, let's say, a string of 21. And then you can do age equals integer and then put age. And then if I would guess that would just allow you to use age as to do like comparative things. This example that they're showing here. So they have current number. It's going to be set to 1. And then we have our while loop here. So we'll go while current. Oh, did I spell that wrong? I did. I had an R there. I was like, that doesn't look right. All right. While current number is less than or equal to 5. And this acts kind of like our if statement, I would assume. So you have your statement, your line with your statement in it, a colon, and then anything indented underneath that will be inside your while loop. Similar to a for loop, but a little different. So we're just going to have it print our current number. And then at the bottom here, it looks like it's going to be incrementing our number. So this plus equals, this is usually where I would see it, and this is just going to be incrementing our current number by 1. So earlier we saw it with the prompt, and it had the plus equals underneath it, and it added those two strings together. This is basically just, again, it's going to be adding 1 to this value. So each time we loop through this, it starts out at 1. When it goes through the first loop, it's going to come back around. It's going to be 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then once it exceeds 5, this while loop will stop, and it's going to print the numbers for us each time we do this. So if we run it, you can see that it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once it hits 5, it's going to loop through again, and then it'll be 6. And when it hits 6 and it goes to here, it's going to be like, all right, well, 6 is not less than 5, so we're done with this loop. And that's pretty much how the while loop works. Letting the user choose when to quit. All right, so they have a little fun example here I think I'll try to do. So they start out with their prompt. So I guess maybe I just never seen the plus equals when it comes to strings, but it kind of does essentially the same thing as when you see it with numeric values. I'm just so used to using it with only numerics that I didn't think about it actually adding multiple strings together, but apparently that's what it does. That actually might even work in C++ and Java. I just haven't tried it, but maybe I will. Again, this backslash and n just is a new line, so it starts a new line. That's why you can tell that even though it's inside of the quotes, it is a different color. Instead of green, it is orange, showing that it is basically a special character and means that we are going to be setting this on a new line. So this one, it looks like we are going to allow them to exit the program whenever they type in quit, or I guess you can tell them something and they'll repeat it. So you can probably just keep typing multiple things, it'll repeat it, and then when you want to get out, you type quit. Oops. So after that, we're going to have our message, which it looks like they're just setting message equal to, a blank string for now. And then while they have, okay, then that's when they're doing their while loop. So they're going to say, while the message is not equal to quit, we're going to continue to loop through this. So message is going to equal input prompt, and then we're going to print our message. So what this is going to do is essentially exactly what it says up here. Until you type quit, this loop is just going to keep looping and keep looping. It's going to give you this prompt each time. So we'll go ahead and run it. It's going to say, hey, tell me something, and I will repeat it back to you. Enter quit to end the program. So we'll just say hello, and it's going to type hello, and again, it asks for you to do something. And the second you type quit, it's going to exit, and it said process is finished. So pretty cool little program. If we take all of this again and we try to do it inside here, we'll need to, so we'll actually need to run this in command prompt. So we'll try this one in the command prompt. Again, you're going to type cd for change directory, and then system cannot find the path specified. All right, so I did something wrong. Oh, I put the slash. Okay, you don't need this backslash. It should be just cd and then do documents. Unless I spelled something wrong, but I don't think I did. Yeah, just be careful of spelling mistakes too. All right, so now you'll see that I am in the directory that I want to be. I was in users Peter. Now I'm in users Peter's documents Python projects. So I'm in the directory I want to be. And after that, then you just type in your actual file name, which will be this last name that you have up there. And hit that. And this will do the same thing. Now it tells you, hey, tell me something. I will repeat it. So you can write hello. It says hello, and it repeats it again. And then, you could continue to say goodbye. But you can do that as many times as you want. You hit quit, and then it exits, and you're back in your directory. So same exact thing, just using Sublime and the command prompt versus IntelliJ. Do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do. All right, so what's up, everybody? All right, I promise I will get this video done eventually. As you can see, I have my daughter with me again today. I think what I'm going to start to do is actually, you might start seeing my daughter in more of my videos. Only because school will be starting again for me very shortly, and then her nap time I will most likely be using for studying versus YouTube videos. So I may try to take, 20, 30 minutes if I can, depending on how well my daughter is, to just try to do some of these videos like this with her. I have 2 monitors luckily, so like I just play a video for her and she can watch that, and I can try to get a video done for you guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that, and if it's too distracting or too difficult for you guys to kind of follow. I know it's definitely going to slow me down a lot with my videos, but it is what it is. But hopefully one day, when she gets a little older, she'll actually be coding with me. But she's only 2 right now, so probably not going to happen for a while. Alright, so I think this is where we left off from my previous video. Again, this is like the 4th, I think, section of the 4th video that I've started on this one chapter. Still trying to get through, I think it was while loops and user input. As you can see, I have IntelliJ open. I'm going to just continue to use IntelliJ, I think, for the remainder of this, only because I don't like having to run things through the command prompt. Okay, so the while loop for this one is going to be, I think we're going to get rid of message here. And we are actually going to make, I guess, a flag just called active. And I think they're just calling this flag, this is basically just going to be, I think, a Boolean value. But they're using it as a flag, I suppose. So again, it's going to be very similar. And I think we can just get rid of this whole quit. So while active message equals input prompt, and then our prompt is gonna, okay, and then what they're doing inside of their while loop is just creating, it looks like an if statement. So sorry guys, bear with me here. So it looks like we're going to have the same message and input, and then we're going to do an if statement basically that's going to check to see if message is equal to quit. Again, we want to check equality, double equals. So if it's equal to quit, then active is going to be set to false, which is going to bump us out of our while loop. But by default, we're just going to print the message. Let's indent that. So it's going to do the same exact thing. It's just a different way of doing it. So we have our flag set here to true, and for this, they're calling it active, but you can call it whatever you want. Yeah, so that's that. And then we have this, which is true, and then while this is true, it's going to keep repeating, and the only time it's going to be false is if the message we put in there is quit, and then it'll change to false, and we should be able to get out of there. So we play this, you can see it says tell me something, I'll repeat it back to you. You can just type in like hello, it'll say hello, and then it gives you the prompt again. And then if you write quit, then, oh, that's kind of interesting. It looks like it just repeated quit. Alright, so it exited the second time. I wonder if it's because I put a space. That's probably why. So I think that was just my own fault. Let's try this one more time. Kind of confused myself, but I think it's because I pressed a space. So space quit is not the same as quit. Do hello. And then if I go quit, then it works. All right, yeah, so that was my fault. Confused myself a little bit. I did actually press spacebar before I wrote quit. So that is why that happen. So yeah, again, just the same program, different way to do it. Okay, so the next way we're going to exit this is by using a break. So what you can do is, instead of doing this whole active true thing, we can just get rid of that. And then we will do over here, we'll just set this to true, which means it's basically like a never-ending loop, unless there's a way to get out. The only way to get out of this would be to use a break. So what you can do is down here, and we can just, all right, they changed up this and put like, they changed up some of the variables, but it doesn't really matter. It's all going to be the same. We're going to keep it message and quit, just for convenience sake. And then right here, we are going to just write break. So whenever they type break, and whenever message equals, or yeah, whenever message equals quit, then it will go into this if statement, and this break is going to kick us out of this loop. That's what the break means. If it's not quit, then basically it's just going to print our message. So this is just, should be another way to kind of do the same thing. Type hello, it continues to go. You write quit, and then it exits. So again, same program, written 3 different ways. Just a bunch of different ways. That's one of the cool things about coding, but also one of the more difficult things, is just there's a bunch of different ways to do things. And it comes down to sometimes just preference, but also eventually it'll kind of come down to speed and, you know, writing the most efficient code, which I'm still not that great at that. All right, now we're going to do using continue in a loop for this one. Again, it's a similar example, but we are going to use a number that's incrementing. So for this, we're just going to write number, and then it's going to be equal to 0. And our while loop condition is going to be while number is less than 10, we're going to continue through this loop. And then it looks like for this one, we're just going to get rid of any input. We're not going to have any input from the user on this one. What we are going to have is our number incrementing. So we'll have number plus equals 1, which is going to increment our number by 1 each loop through. So the first thing it's going to do when it comes into this is it's going to increment it by 1. And then we'll have a if statement here that's going to say number, and they have some modular division for this one. So they're saying number modular division 2 is equal to 0. And if you guys are a little confused by what this all means, basically modular division is going to give you the remainder. So it'll divide your number by 2, and then it'll give you the remainder. And so in order for this to be true, it will need a remainder of 0. And then from here, inside of that, they have continue written down here. So rather than break out of a loop entirely without executing the rest of its code, you can use the continue statement to return to the beginning of the loop based on the result of a conditional test. For example, consider a loop that counts for 1 to 10 but prints only the odd numbers in that range. Okay, so basically the modular division thing makes sense now. So they're going to say that anytime that there is no remainder, so anytime for like 2, 4, and 6, any even number, 2 is going to go into evenly, so there'll be no remainder. And on those, we're not going to print them, we're just going to start the next set of loops. So we're going to jump to the next loop. So instead of breaking out completely, you'll just do that. I think it looks like they just went ahead and removed the else statement completely from this, and they just have a print statement on its own. Ooh, there's a traceback error. Oh, yeah. Whoops. I'm trying to have it print something that's no longer there. Messages from our other example. We actually want to print number. So now we should have no issues. Go ahead and run it. And we get all the odd numbers like we thought we would. So cool. All right. That is using continue instead of break. So if we had put break here or something, break basically just kicks you completely out of the loop and it won't do anything else. Hey, what's up? You want to get down? There's a section here that talks about avoiding infinite loops. Hey, Autumn, don't mess with the book. Daddy needs that. Watch your puppy show.
Oh,
Hello? Saying hello to everybody? Say hi. I'll show you one example of an infinite loop and then see what the error is that happens. If we even get an error, it may just, lock it up and freeze it up. Um, but essentially, we could even do an infinite loop with this if we really wanted to. All right, so let's just get rid of this. Actually, we'll keep the same thing, but maybe just do true. This is probably just going to continue to print numbers forever. So yeah, you see how many numbers it is. It's just continuing to go and go and go and go. And that'll just go forever until your computer can't handle the numbers. So you want to try to avoid doing anything that can result in that. If you have some kind of statement in here that is always true, it's going to give you this loop that just never ends. You'll never be able to get out of it. So you want to make sure that you put things in place to make sure that the loop will end. You want your condition, especially in a while loop, to eventually be false. So this while loop I'm just gonna take this right from the book. This looks like a fun example. They do an example with pets. So we're just gonna make a list of pets. We have dog, cat. Um, looks like they got another dog, goldfish, and another cat, and got a rabbit. And last one here is another cat. Okay, so we'll have it print our list of pets once right there. And then below that, we're going to do a while loop. And it's going to say while cats in pets. Whoa. So while cats in pets dot remove cat. And then we're going to go ahead and print it again. So this is what it should do is just basically remove all of our cats from our list. We run this. The first one has 3 cats in it. The second one only has 1 cat. And I believe that if I move this print statement into our while loop and it prints it each time, I believe what it's going to do is take these cats out one at a time. Yeah, so the first one here, it removes that first cat, and then it removes the second cat, and then eventually removes the third cat. So each loop through, if there's cat in the list, or while cat is in the list, it goes in and it removes the cat until eventually this is going to be false because there is going to be no cat in the list. So that's a good way to use a while loop to try to alter lists and stuff. I'm going to skip over that first example. We're only a couple pages away from away from chapter 8. So the last section here they have is filling a dictionary with user input. All right, it's a little bit longer of an example, but I think I'll try to do this. Will be the last example, and then we will close out chapter 7, and my next video will be on chapter 8, which is functions. So let's just try to get through this last example here. I guess they're just trying to fill a dictionary with user inputs. So they have this, they have the top, they're just calling responses, I guess. Responses. So this is going to be our dictionary, which is just empty at the beginning of this example. They have a little note here that says set a flag to indicate that polling is active. So I guess they're calling it this polling, but I'm just gonna call it like user input true. Actually, maybe I'll just call it our flag, user our flag. It's gonna be, all right, so our flag is gonna be equal to true. And then while our flag, so while our flag is just basically going to say while that's true, we are going to go ahead and prompt for the person's name and response. All right, so we'll have a name, which is going to be equal to our input. And again, our input, we can do our prompts right here. And I'm just going to say, what is your name? Question. So they'll know to put their name there. And then they're going to have their answer, I guess. And their answer is basically going to be equal to their input. They have a question here that says something about a mound, but I think we'll just say, you know, do you have a pet? All right, there we go. Do you have a pet? So they'll have their name, and that'll be their answer. And then we want to store that answer in our list. So we will have responses, and then we just, so it should, it's a dictionary, so it's going to be key value pairs. So we're going to have the person's name as the key, and then we're going to have answer as the value that it's associated with that key. So this looks like it's right. Yeah, so we're going to do that, and then because we have our flag set to true, we're going to have to get into something that changes it to false. And then we're going to say after that, we're going to find out if anyone else is going to take the survey or the poll. So we will have, they just have repeat here. I'll keep repeat because that sounds fine. So repeat is going to be input. And then I think it's just going to do the same thing. So do you, all right, hold on, I'll just say, is anyone else going to answer? So we can do that. All right, and then after that we can do if repeat equals no, then we will basically just say our flag is going to be equal to false. So that's how we'll get out of it. So once they say no one else is going to answer the question, then our flag turns to false and we will get bumped out of here. And then down at the very bottom, after everything is said and done, we can just go ahead and print our dictionary, right? I think that's what it's going to say. Oh, it has like print results. Adam, hey, come on, sit down for me. So we'll just do, it's going to print results. And then below that, we will have for name and answer in responses dot items. We will print out. Oh my goodness, I got lag today. We'll print. All right, I'm going to change this up a little bit just because of the way this last part is. So we're going to say, do you have a pet? Question. If so, what is its name? So for this, I'm going to say for answers in responses dot items print, and I'm going to say, I'm going to add a little bit of my own with this. I'm going to say inside of each loop, if I'm going to need if answer does not equal no. All right, so for name answer in responses, if answer does not equal no, then we'll print that, which I need to indent again. All right, so we'll see if this works. This isn't really the best way to do this, only because I asked 2 questions in 1 prompt, so that could get a little confusing. Someone might actually say, you know, yes, my pet's name is, and or type more than what they should. But because I'm the one that wrote it, I'm the one that's doing it, then obviously I know to do answers that will make sense. So we'll put Peter. I do have a pet named Gronk. He's a dog. And then we'll hit enter, and then say, is anyone else playing? Yes. And then it's going to ask for their name again. I will just say Autumn. And then our other pet is Carly. Say no. And now we ran into an issue here. Oh, all right. The issue is I put false 1. I don't know why there was an extra 1 there, but that's just a typo. So we'll try this again one more time. Peter, Gronk, yes, Autumn, and Carly. No one else is playing. And now we have an issue with my oh, pet is not defined because I put pet. I should have put answer. All right, and that should not be capitalized. You having fun? You having fun running around? All right, sorry about this. All right, we'll try this one last time. It should work now. Making a lot of mistakes in this one, but I'm a little distracted here, making sure my daughter's okay running around. So again, we'll go Peter. Dog's name's Gronk. One more person's playing, Autumn. And our other dog's name is Carly. No one else is going to be answering questions. And now the results are Peter has a pet named Gronk, and Autumn has a pet named Carly. I didn't put a space between that, so it looks a little crowded, but you get it. That's the last example that I'm going to do for today, and I will try to get all this edited and put together for you guys. But if you are enjoying these videos and you're enjoying this book, let me know. I'll have a link to Amazon for this book that I'm using. I am skipping over a lot, and I'm kind of, if you guys are really interested in learning more about this, I would definitely suggest, picking this book up. It's only 25 bucks on Amazon. Great book. I'm having a lot of fun going through it. But yeah, the next chapter is functions, so I will do a video on that in hopefully a week or so.